Weapons is the newest film directed by Cregger, and previously he had done Barbarian. One night, a classroom full of children, minus one, end up leaving in the middle of the night at 2:17 in the morning into the darkness to never be seen again, causing chaos and speculation amongst the community. So as I stated earlier, yes, Cregger did make previously before this Barbarian, and the film heavily markets that it is that director. And I will say I'm not the biggest fan of Barbarian. It's actually one of the first few reviews that I wrote on my letterbox, so you could go ahead and check that out. Link is down below for the profile. But I heard so many people talking about it and being like, oh, this film is great, you know, it subverts expectations, all that. And I thought largely that was, was fine, but when I saw trailers for this one, it was a completely different story. I think the marketing for this film did a fantastic job. The first thing that I saw for this movie on Twitter, I think, it was like the Ring camera footage of one of the child actors doing the pose when they're running through to the darkness. And again, I saw this at 3 in the morning and didn't recognize that it was a promotion for a movie really early on, and it was really fucking me up for a second. So I can say that the marketing and the trailers for this film did wonders. And I think the best part of Weapons is the direction Cregger takes. He also did write this movie, and I think that the camera work and the use of negative space most of the time and how it's shot is well done. It's also broken up into a couple different acts because it takes a look at the perspective of a certain character for a portion of the movie, and then it splits to the next character. And I thought that it balances everything out really, really well. The cross-cutting between everything is fantastic. It's much better done here than it is in Barbarian. I think Barbarian was probably his test run on how to potentially do it, and then this was his full-on attempt to be this is how you do it, this is how I'm going to perfect it. And I thought he did a really good job. The build-up of suspense throughout is also done extremely well. There's shots where it sits on a house for a really long time, and then a door opens, and then based on the lighting you can't see inside the house, so it's just this black square that's now just there, and it's really effective. There's a lot of scenes that involving obviously different characters that ramps up the tense moments, and the payoffs for some of those moments is really, really great. And the cast is really, really great. More specifically, one of the lead actresses in Julia Garner. Coming off the heels of Fantastic Four, she also brings in a powerful performance as the school teacher that the classroom has had this situation happen to. She plays the role extremely well. There is a lot of dread and guilt involved with this character. She is seen drinking heavily on most nights, and you see her going to the liquor store multiple times and her interactions with other people, and I thought it was done beautifully. There really isn't a bad part of her story, I think. I mean, there's a lot of parts in the movie where I'm just sitting there kind of why would you do that? And it's kind of you gotta, play along with that. It's a movie, I guess, and there are some moments where it's smart, the things that she does, but then there's also some weird moments too where it's she is told not to interact with the one student that wasn't affected by the situation, and then she just ends up doing it. So it's just it's weird stuff like that where it's you don't need to do something like that. No sane person would do some of the things that she ends up doing in this film. But regardless, I thought she was great. Great performance, another great movie under her belt. Josh Brolin, Thanos himself actually, is also really good. He plays a more mean-spirited character. He's the father of one of the students that goes missing and basically blames her throughout the entire situation. And I love his arc throughout. And obviously he's a grieving father, but he's also one of the few characters that kind of kickstarts the sort of discovery of things, and he's the one that kind of really takes a step forward in trying to find the students. Not that the police haven't done anything, but the stuff that he does throughout the film to kind of make sure that all the characters are found, basically, but most importantly his son. I thought he did a pretty good job portraying that. All in all, I think the cast is really, really great. It's very diverse and it's very fun. You even have Alden Ehrenreich, who formerly has played Han Solo, and he was also in Oppenheimer in this. You have Benedict Wong, who's the principal of the school that this event has happened in. So there's a lot of characters in this, and there's a lot of moving parts in this film that have to work together, and the characters work really well with each other. And as I said earlier, earlier, the cross-cutting between the events that happen between certain people is really fun to see. The music as well is also really, really fun. I failed to mention in my other review for Fantastic Four that I absolutely adore the music in there, so I'm going to try to mention it here for that. But for Weapons at least, the music is very tense, it's very good, it feels very recognizable. I thought that it knocked it out of the park. Outside of that, there isn't a ton of negatives, I would say. There is a portion of the movie where I feel like it loses steam a little bit. There is some stuff in here where it kind of feels a little off-kilter, I guess you would say. There was just some stuff that didn't fully work for me. The movie, in general, I thought was great, but there were some moments here and there that kind of pulled me out. There were some moments that I was just kind of like, sort of interested in and then not interested in, and again, there's so much more better in this movie than, you know, how I'm getting credit for, but I thought that this was a really good watch. The last little bit of this movie I will say though as a negative, and actually this one kind of bothers me a little bit, even though it's not in the movie, but the narration, I will say, in this movie kind of took me out a lot, because it just is a kid narrating it and just feels, it felt weird because it just felt like a kid just saying words, you know. But the worst part about it is the words that are on the poster. It's too much. Like the words like take up way too much of the middle section of the poster, and it's a synopsis of the movie for the most part, and I don't know why they did it that way. Like, I almost thought it would be better if they would just have left the words off and it just said weapons and with the kids, you know, running on the image. I think that a little bit of a missed opportunity right there. I'm going to give Weapons 4 stars. Thank you guys so much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. You can check down the link down below for all the socials that we have down there. As I mentioned earlier, my letterbox with my previous review for Barbarian, one of the first views I'd done for this director. TikTok, where we just do a bunch of different videos and stuff for promoting videos for this YouTube channel. And then you got Twitter, where I just decided to tell everybody that Caleb Williams is great and Chicago sports is great, and then some other news stuff, I would say. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Keep those cinemas alive. I will talk to you all next time.